Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we are diving straight into something truly epic. We're looking at a mythological chronicle that reads almost like a lost cosmic scripture. We're going to explore the ancient record of the fall of divine unity and see exactly how it paved the way for the birth of human forgetfulness. Let's get right into it.
Before the ticking of clocks, before the ink of history dried, there was only the eternal source. Just try to visualize that for a second. We're talking about a blinding, infinite light, pulsing with the pure rhythm of potentiality, way before time itself even existed. It wasn't a physical place you could visit, it was just a pure state of being.
And from that infinite light came the Aethelgard. They were known as the children of the source. Think of them as the very first celestial architects. They weren't entirely made of flesh, but they weren't just pure spirit either. They walked the thin veil between the void and substance. In those primordial days, they crafted a world of absolute, perfect harmony. I mean, there was literally zero sorrows simply because the concept of separation didn't exist yet. They walked on an earth untouched by time, gleaming like a radiant jewel right under these unbroken, eternal golden skies.
Part 1. The Golden Age and the Seven Kingdoms of Light. This was a truly expansive era where divine consciousness first gave form to actual existence.
During this time, the Aethelgard divided the world into 7 distinct sacred domains: wisdom, harmony, flame, waters, stars, song, and spirit. And the nature of these realms is just fascinating. Take the Kingdom of Flame, for example. It wasn't about burning or destruction at all. It was entirely about purification and elevating matter. Or the Kingdom of Song, where they understood that just a single musical note could build a massive bridge or entirely shatter a mountain. And tying the whole shebang together was the breathtaking, crystal city of Aurelion and the great eternal tree right at the center of the world.
But then we get to Part 2, the cracks in paradise and the fracture of free will. Because, as the ancient historians noted, perfect harmony ultimately breeds stagnation. It brings up this profound philosophical dilemma that sages used to whisper about in the Sanctum of Mirrors. If everything is in total harmony, what's the actual value of choice? Seriously, think about it. If there is absolutely no risk of loss, can love truly be profound? If light never actually encounters darkness, does it even know how brilliant it is?
Now, these weren't malicious thoughts at all. They were just born out of genuine curiosity. But here's the catch. In a world built on absolute, unbroken unity, just the mere thought of separation acted like a massive thunderclap. Suddenly, the perfect mirror of paradise developed its very first hairline fracture.
Which leads us to Part 3, the Spark of Pride and Valor's Rebellion.
That tiny hairline fracture? Yeah, it split wide open, and it started with Valor, the Lord of the Radiant Flame. He was this incredibly intense being, skin like polished obsidian, eyes holding the light of dying stars. And Valor basically grew tired of just reflecting the eternal light. He wanted to actually be the source. So boom, we get the world's very first division. On one side you had the Keepers, led by figures like Alara of the Waters and the stoic Kaelin of Wisdom. They stayed incredibly loyal to unity and the ancient ways. But on the flip side, Valor's faction, the Luminaries, demanded strict sovereignty and individual will. It's so important to note here that the shadow falling over the world wasn't some external evil invading from deep space. It was born entirely from within.
And that sparks Part 4, the Cataclysm, or the War of Shattered Skies. Almost overnight, those serene, golden heavens were violently replaced by chaotic slashes of crimson and violet.
Things escalated incredibly fast. First, Valor and his luminaries seized the Forge of Creation to literally rewrite the laws of physics. The Keepers hit back by sealing off the Earth's ley lines. We're talking about unleashing celestial weapons forged from actual collapsing stars. The sonic booms from these battles cracked continental plates wide open, entire oceans boiled. For 7 cataclysmic ages, the Earth itself literally screamed under the crushing weight of this divine civil war.
The profound tragedy of this whole conflict finally hit the Elder Gods. They came to this really stark realization. If this continues, existence will cease. There will be no victors, only void. Because remember, both sides shared the exact same divine blood. They finally realized that killing an enemy meant lethally wounding themselves. The source itself was actually dimming, pulling back from the sheer violence of its own children. So they had to make a choice. Part 5, the Veil of Forgetting, and a divine sacrifice. To save creation, the gods initiated what's known as the Great Withdrawal.
First, they hid the temples beneath the oceans, and the crystal city of Aurelion was completely phased out of physical reality. Then, some gods entered a deep enchanted slumber, right there in the earth. But that third and final step, it's honestly the most tragic and beautiful part of the story. Filled with intense remorse, many of these gods willingly descended into the wheel of birth and death. They completely surrendered their immortality, their unimaginable power, and all their memories to become mortal flesh. They actively chose to learn humility from within the raw, painful human experience. And as they faded away, this thick metaphysical mist rolled across the earth. They called it the Veil of Forgetting. It completely drained the magic from the world and obscured absolutely all memory of the Golden Age. And from this total amnesia arose fragile, finite mortal humanity. That's us. We started building cities of stone, completely forgetting our true origins, forgetting the source, and completely losing any memory of those glorious kingdoms of light.
But it doesn't end there. Part 6, the return and the prophecy of the awakened.
Right before that final veil fell, a deeply prophetic message was carved into the indestructible star metal of the tablets of eternity. It read, "The blood of the first gods shall walk again, not to conquer the world, but to heal the rift within." It essentially foretold that when humanity finds itself standing on the absolute precipice of self-destruction, the sleepers will finally stir. We're going to wake up and realize that this lost kingdom isn't some physical place on a map you can just march over and conquer. No, it's a state of being completely contained within the soul.
So I want to leave you with this one final provocative thought to chew on. Is our endless human search for meaning, that desperate craving we all have for connection and purpose, is that just an ancient echo of this lost divine origin? Are we all really just fragmented pieces of the source, blindly trying to remember who we once were before the veil fell? It is a wildly fascinating concept to reflect on as you go about your modern existence today. Thanks so much for joining me on this incredible journey through the Celestial Dawn. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.